welcome back to No Sympathy for Kings, a rich man's podcast. As always, I'm your host, Ian, and I have a very special guest with me here today. She is the CEO and co-founder of the Progressive Love Academy. Well, without further ado, Kenya K. Stevens, how are you today?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. All right. So, what is it that you do? First of all, like explain your business to us.
Absolutely. I divorce proof marriages and relationships. So I support humans who want to be together forever and having the tools to do that. So that includes a whole suite of tools that we present over here at the Progressive Love Academy. So we have online courses and we also have one on one coaching.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, for the uninitiated, you're polyamorous, correct?
Yes. Polyamory is literally a word that means many loves. So we just believe that we can love more than one person, as many people as we want, and have individual relationships with them all.
Gotcha. And how does that differ from I guess more common terms like polygamy?
Polygyny is when one man can have several women, but those women are monogamous to him. Polyandry is when a woman can have several men, but those men are monogamous to her. I don't do either of those. I am free and my husbands are free. So we practice polyamory.
Okay. Okay. It's like just for the layman's, that means that you and your partner can have other partners, and their partners have their own network of partners.
Yes, I call
Is
that
that
a
right?
network of love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Explain the mindset behind that. I think that's critical to put it in perspective.
Sure, the mindset is simple. Humans are not a monogamous species. We enjoy variety and we also enjoy stability. So I have a stable home with my husband. I also have other husbands and other stable homes. And I have the freedom to go out and always explore new partnerships. Humans like
Gotcha.
this type of arrangement because we're a communal species.
Are you familiar with like the history of poly and like the origins of it? And if you are, can you explain to us, I guess, where it all began? Does it like predate, more modern monogamous relationships?
Absolutely. So if people are really interested in that, they should really read an anthropologist like Chris Ryan, Sex at Dawn. But what that book and other anthropologists tell us is that the modern marriage system began just 10,000 years ago. So humans are 300,000 years old as a species. So modern marriage has only been 4% of human history. Prior to modern marriage, which favors the male in terms of freedom and the female in terms of being owned, which is not a problem if that's how you roll. But again, the stats aren't working for males or females. Males are more upset about modern marriage than women because alimony and child support and they get gouged through the divorces. I'm like, but y'all set up the system. So yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, that being neither here nor there,
yeah,
ancient systems of non-ownership love is more about communal love, where it's not marriage is not about who I have sex with. Marriage is about how we count up the people in the village. It's easier to count by twos than by ones. So if we put people in couples, we can account for a whole community of 200 people rapidly. And we can remember who goes with who. That was what marriage was about in most of indigenous America, most of indigenous pre-recorded Africa. It wasn't about who you can and can't have sex with. That's not. The sex was with. It was more organic in these indigenous cultures, meaning I have sex with whom I want to have sex with. That's nobody's. It's neither here nor there. And so, but yes, I count my family by having this 2 or 5 groups of 5. It sometimes was groups, and that's how we count the people in the village.
do you mind me asking how many other husbands you have?
Oh, I have one other husband. His name is Tiger Moonstone, and we have other partners. He has other partners. My first husband, Carl, has other partners. So I have 2 husbands, and all of us have other partners.
When did you start like the poly journey? What year?
I've been poly for 20 years. So we started in 2005. So we're almost at 20 years now.
Okay. And what led up to that? Is it just
Well, I had
curiosity that you at a particular
monogamous.
juncture? Oh, go ahead.
Sure, absolutely. I had a monogamous marriage for many, many years, 12 years to be exact. And my husband and I just loved each other so much that we decided we're going to add some freedom to our relationship. After being with one partner for many years, you can notice the romance fading, and you can notice um, the intensity of the passion fading. And so we loved the fact that we were going to go get more passion, more love, more intensity, and we didn't have to lose each other.
Right. What's the process for that for for a couple that's like maybe not necessarily initiated? Like, did you have to find your own way through that, or did you have assistance like what you provide for people? How did that work?
My husband and I found our own way, and we developed systems along the way to make the path easier. For dealing with things like jealousy, insecurity, communication issues, we have developed tools and systems and written books about those. So, that's how we support our couples who want to be divorce proof like we are.
So I think it's safe to say it like it wasn't necessarily like a straight frictionless road. Like there was definitely like a learning curve and maybe even a few bumps. I imagine that like with any relationship, when you're exploring something new like that, and what's I guess considered non-traditional, at least in this part of the world, at least for that time, I think for sure. Like, did you deal together like with those negative, I guess, or connotations or emotions like the jealousy and I remember a live stream you did recently where you talked about early on with your husband Carl. You set up like a bunch of rules at first that you had to adhere to. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, it was a very challenging transition because our culture is set up with ownership love. So that means if I love you, I own your penis, you own my vagina, we own each other's sexuality. I own, you. You can't do anything I don't want you to do. I can't do anything you don't want me to do. And that's called love. Well, we just didn't believe that anymore. And we started to create our own formats. And through creating our own format, yes, we dealt face to face with jealousy, with insecurity. I'm the type of woman who I didn't want my husband to open the car door for another woman. Don't open the door. Don't help her with her groceries. Don't look at another one. That's how I was. And so we had to really move through all of those emotions, and we developed tools to help us move through them so that we could get to the other side and really remove the trigger.
Yeah, that was part of getting to that space, like personal resonance. Like, did you find that the rules that you were, lack of a better term, imposing, on your husband at the time, and for each of you, did you find at some point you wanted to kind of like, you know what, I'm not sure I want to follow these same rules, so why would I impose this onto him? Why would I, it's clearly something I don't like, so why
Right.
should it be like this? Yeah.
Well, we just realized that all rules are fear based. And so we created principles called the progressive love principles that we now follow. And that we support our clients with learning, because rules is one way of dealing with your fear, but principles and tools is another. So we started to build principles that we followed instead of rules. A rule tells you specifically you may not text another woman. That's a rule.
Right.
A principle is different from that. It doesn't tell you anything specific. It talks about how you should think about your partner, why you should trust your partner. So we have a complete suite of those, and they're called the progressive love tenets.
Okay. And are you at liberty to disclose like what like the pillars of those tenets are, or is that something that's like reserved for your course?
Oh, those are all available in my course. And we really love to share those with clients who are ready to take that journey. In terms of others, they got to stick to rules because, we say rules are for fools, but we give and offer the other way of doing things through our Progressive Love Academy online courses.
All right. So this journey started in 2005. You did it together, and eventually the process and the lifestyle evolved in a way that was comfortable for both of you, and then by extension your partners.
Yes.
Okay, great. So at what point did you decide you wanted to make this into a business? What led
Well,
to
I
that?
It's
Good
so
life.
funny because I decided right from the start, as soon as my husband came home from work one day and told me that he was having feelings for another woman, I had already told my husband that I've had feelings for other men. We never cheated on each other. But the day that I decided that I was going to really face into this and try to embrace this, and, like, for instance, go to dinner with this woman and my husband, meet this woman, I started to blog about it. And that's the day we went into business, because the blog became the classes, and the classes became the personal coaching, and the personal coaching became our books. And since then, we've written 12 books.
I've followed your husband too. He's very deep, brother. Very knowledgeable, and he's a cigar guy like myself too. So I
Yes, he
appreciate
is.
that as well.
Yes, I
All
love
right,
cigars myself.
cool, excellent.